Hey gang, I got an offer for you today from LinkedIn. As business-to-business marketers, your needs are unique. B2B buying cycles are long and your customers face incredibly complex decisions. Isn't it time you had a marketing platform built specifically for you? LinkedIn ads empower marketers with solutions for you and your customers. LinkedIn ads allow you to build the right relationships, drive results, and reach your customers in a respectful environment. On LinkedIn, you have direct access to build relationships with decision makers. Of the 875 million users on the network, 180 million are senior level executives. 10 million are C-level executives. You will also be able to drive results with targeting and measuring with their tools built specifically for B2B. And best of all, they work. Audiences exposed to brand messages on LinkedIn are 6 times more likely to convert. LinkedIn ads also rank number 1 for security, community, and ad experience as part of the Business Insider's Digital Trust Study. Make B2B marketing everything it can be and get a $100 credit. It's a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. It's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. It's about the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, and how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. I'm, as always, Seth. Today I am here with a friend of mine, Krista Walsh of Krista Walsh Copywriting, right? Or writing, or
Yeah,
what are
so
you
my
today?
yeah. My
You
domain
I
name
say that because I laughed because she was all copywriting all the time on Instagram. Then she got a dog, and the dog took over her Instagram, which is, I think, better use of Instagram because her
it
dog is
is.
freaking cute. He's what is he? We're gonna jump the shark already. He's a
Yeah.
a lab pit with socks.
Yeah, so he's definitely his mom was a pit bull. They're not sure about the dad, but
He's
he's
so cute.
yeah, he's a cutie, and definitely he's easier to display on Instagram being so visual than, like, copywriting.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
it's
sure you could. I mean,
there
you
are
are
many
pretty
fabulous
talented.
copywriters who are doing it much better than I am for sure on
Yeah,
Insta.
but he's awfully cute, and he's got white paws. So what's his Bobby Socks, right?
Bobby Socks is his name. Yeah, I can't take credit for the name.
Oh, really?
The rescue named him that, the rescue that we adopted him from, and we were
Oh.
obviously like, we're keeping that name because that's super
Yeah, so
cute.
my air doodle Olive. She just looked up. Hi, Olive. She's sitting right next to me here,
Cute.
and she came with the name Olive, and my son's gonna want to change the name. Oh, he's gonna absolutely want to change the name. Nope, he wanted to keep Olive.
That's a cute
So
name. That's a cute
she's
little dog
adorable.
name.
She's totally an Olive. Totally an Olive.
Oh,
She's a big fluffer.
oh
She's
yeah.
a 65-pound air doodle.
What is an air doodle?
She's
What's the
50% Airedale, and the rest
Oh,
poodle, and a
right.
little bit of lab in her.
Okay, yeah, that sounds really cute.
Yeah, she's a cutie pie, and she
I
knows
feel like you
it.
mix anything with a poodle, it's super cute. It's just like a
She
fluffier
gets
version.
catcalled from cars. People will slow down, roll down the window, and say, "She's so gorgeous." What is wrong with people?
I mean,
I mean,
I would do that. I would
as
do
a
it.
guy, I don't understand the catcalling. I know women, get catcalled all the time. I'm sure now that you have Bobby Socks, you don't get catcalled nearly as much because he looks at them like, don't mess with my mommy.
Yeah, because he's giant. He's this big black dog. People definitely don't. It really
Mess with
went from,
you.
like, maybe, like, a 75 to a 0, like, as soon as I got him. It was
Oh,
crazy.
that's handy. So, Krista, have you've been doing this entrepreneur journey a long time now, haven't you? It's been like what, a
Mm,
decade? Not even
not a decade, but
decade.
5 years. Yeah, half a
So half a
decade.
decade. All right, you can do
Yeah,
half a decade.
it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. And so, what's the best thing about being an entrepreneur in your mind?
Yeah, so I've never actually had a formal 9 to 5. I do feel like I had that experience, though, throughout college. My last 2 years of college, I essentially did work a 9 to 5, but it was a paid internship technically.
Ooh, that's fun.
And yeah, it was okay, I guess, but it really was the experience
The
that made
truth
me
comes out.
They were lovely people. It wasn't anything about them. I think it was just me realizing, like, Oh my god, I am 21, 22, and this is going to be my life, and, like, seeing these people who are in their late 20s and 30s and 40s and, like, seeing that
Mhm.
as my future, just sitting in an office being excited for the 2
Yeah.
weeks of vacation I got. Um, and so I graduated college and really kept having it on my to-do list to apply for jobs because my parents were not going to support me, like, they're not the types of people, so
Really
desperately
good.
needed money, but I couldn't bring myself to do it.
So what'd you do out of college?
Yeah, so instead I applied sort of a job, but to teach English abroad in Spain, which
Ooh,
felt
that's
like a
fun. I
fun
feel like a lot of
adventure.
people, young whippersnappers do that. They're like, "I don't wanna
Yeah.
grow up yet. I want an excuse to kind of explore the world, and people wanna learn English. I know how to speak English." See, I couldn't do it because I can barely speak English, and it's my native tongue. But my brother-in-law calls me graybeard because I have a gray beard, and I call myself graybeard marble mouth because I talk like I have a bunch of marbles in it. So, but anyhow, I digress. You worked abroad as a second language teacher.
Yeah.
How long did you do that for?
Only one, like, not even a full year, but like a school year, so, like,
Oh,
9 months. I don't know what it is, like 8 or 9 months of the
depending on what
year.
school. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like an elementary school, so it was like a normal.
Oh, you were teaching kids.
Yeah, I was teaching
Oh, that's
kids, yeah.
different. So they can
Yeah.
actually absorb it and actually speak English well. Whereas when you teach adults, it's like teaching like a brick wall.
Yeah, the kids, some of them did really well. Some of them picked it up really quickly and then some of them not so much. But yeah, is hiring teachers in their public schools. Like I wasn't like a tutor or anything. I was actually in their
Oh,
public school
wow.
because they're trying to get their population to be, at least at the time when this was, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they're trying to like bilingualize their population more than it is, I guess, with
Well,
English
that's
and
handy.
Spanish.
Yeah, that's handy. Yeah, I mean, English is, for better or for worse, don't tell the French, the predominant language in the world. I mean, because you tell the
Yeah.
French, they're like, no, French is always important. But, no, English, it's the language of science, it's the language of finance and all that stuff. So you went abroad
Yeah.
for about a school year, did
Yeah.
that, and then you came back, and what made you how'd you get find your way into copywriting per se? What's the lineage to where you are now?
Yeah, so I started when I was teaching in Spain because I had a fair amount of free time, so I started freelancing on this little platform called Upwork. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh, you actually got to work for you. See, I've never had Upwork to
Yeah,
work
I
for me.
did. It worked for me really well for a while. And that is sort of like my first 2 years of freelancing entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
quote unquote, was fully being an Upwork freelancer doing
Oh, wow, you
all
went
kinds
all
of
in on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
all kinds of writing, copywriting, book editing, stuff like that. And then
Mhm.
through that, I realized that copywriting was my jam.
That was your jam, I like that, yeah.
And then what the turning point really was, I was like, well, let me launch a website for myself. So I launched my own
Ooh,
sites.
it's
I had a
ambitious,
friend
yeah.
design it. Yeah. And then in the process of doing that, I took this SEO copywriting course because I thought, well, let me just
Mhm.
apply this to my website. And it worked like gangbusters for me.
I
Like even
know.
as like a new website, within a couple of months I started ranking for my search terms, and to this since then and to this day like 80% of my leads come from Google search.
Oh,
S
wow.
Yeah, so it
That's
sort of
awesome.
was allowed me to replace Upwork in that sense, and then I decided to niche into SEO website copywriting because of how well it worked for
If it
me.
worked, why
Yeah.
not? We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show. Support for this show and all the other shows on the Marketing Podcast Network is provided by Momento. If you have your own podcast, you know how hard it is to produce and get all the cool little clips out and all that stuff. Promoting is half the battle. What if you could upload your episode, video or audio, and have AI pull out all the best moments for you to use in social media? Well, you can with Memento. Upload the video or audio, review the recommended clips, click the couple of buttons, customize the colors, fonts, and hit save. Instantly, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, and LinkedIn posts all materialize before your eyes, all with video and audio embedded for dynamic promotions that drive people to the episode. And the AI kicks out show notes, even transcripts, and even social media captions. All you have to do is review and post them. Because you listen to this show, you get a free trial of Memento to test for yourself. Go to bit.ly/Memento MPN and sign up today. It's bit.ly, bit.ly/momento MPN.
Right. So that's what I help my clients do now. So that's been the journey in a
That's
nutshell.
fun. My website, goldsteinmedia.com, ranks despite itself. I mean, if you looked at what Moz pulls out and says, this is wrong, I'm like, I know it's wrong, but I'm afraid to touch it because if I touch it, something's going to not work right, even though it's done right. It's just because my website is from 2005, not the actual
Yeah.
design, but the
The
content
domain.
goes back that far. And the
Yeah.
domain age is so good that for podcast production tips, nationally, I rank number 4. It's a top 10
That's
list for
huge.
crying
Yeah,
out
that's a
loud.
hugely broad
And,
keyword too. Yeah.
and it ranked. They must have been on my website at that moment in time. It ranked in 10
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. Well, you must have got
Like,
in on the
instantaneously,
early days of
Google sucked it
podcasting.
in and put it up there. What's that?
Was it the early days of podcasting too? Or
No,
was
it
that
was
recent?
like last year.
Wow. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm not touching any of my 404s. They're just going to be 404s from 2009. I'm not touching anything. You could do a 410 code that this tells Google, forget about this URL, and that's better. But I'm like, I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. Like, if it's out there, if I find a usage for it, or like my rule with the website is if someone comes back to me and shows me a link post from 2009 saying, hey, can we this link doesn't work, can you put ours in there instead of doing that, I'll just delete the page and 410 it at that moment because I'm like, they brought it to my attention that it's getting found.
Mhm.
But most of my 404s are old posts no one looks at, like they're so old. So
Yeah, and I don't think that's gonna make or break I mean, it's like a small signal, but it's
yeah,
not
it
gonna
is.
be like a end all
Well, it's
be all.
apparently a non-signal for me, so anyhow.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
what is the best thing about in the past 5 years and then some, what's the best thing about being an entrepreneur in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, definitely I derive a great deal of personal purpose from it. I quite like what I do, the copywriting piece. I like doing website strategy and SEO and that stuff. But I do not think I would be as fulfilled if I was doing it for an agency or for like in-house somewhere because there's definitely at least an equal part of me that enjoys like running my business and marketing my
Mhm.
business and talking about it.
And also being able to take Bobby socks out for a walk whenever you
Yeah.
want.
Right. I mean, now
And
you
taking
can
and
remote
taking
work a lot of
pictures of
places.
them constantly. I love it.
There are so many, Seth, that I don't post too. Like,
So what is the scariest thing about being an entrepreneur? What keeps you up at night?
mm, I think the usual stuff like
Mhm.
self-doubt. I,
Mm.
in the early days went to a lot of therapy, did a lot of like personal development stuff because it really was, I feel like holding me back and just like horrendous to live with this sense of like the next piece of like bad feedback is going to destroy my self-worth for a month or
Mhm.
like the first slow month you have you're like what the hell am I doing with my life, like all that kind
Oh,
of stuff really
we've
gets to
all
you.
been through it. I've been through it in 15 years multiple times.
Yeah, oh, that's good to hear, and you come back.
It's gonna hit you again. It's gonna hit you again at some point. You're gonna be like, it's a slow month, and you're like, what happened? But I feel like you find that it after a while, you've been through it a few times. You're like, wait, I survived. We're good.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So the basic imposter syndrome you say keeps you awake sometimes, and then you're like, I am
Yeah.
good enough. I am Krista Walsh. I rock.
Exactly, and having to really derive a sense of self-worth that isn't contingent on any external factor, which, to be
It's
honest, is
tough.
something I'm still feel like I'm building, but that's getting stronger, I think.
Yeah. Be the writer that your dog knows you are, right?
Yeah.
I can't take credit for that statement. My friend Chris says he wants to be the business owner his dog knows he is, or something like that. And I'm like, I love that because it's you want to
I
live up
want
to
that
your
on, like, a
dog's
coffee mug or
expectations.
something.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, dogs are unconditionally love you, and you want to live to be. You want to kind of be worthy of that admiration.
Yeah, and so I know, like, Bobby Socks is obsessed with me, and I've only had him for, like, 2 months, and it's so cute, like
Oh, my dog, she's obsessed with my wife, and I'm like, I take care of you. I walk you. I feed you. I mean, yeah, she's laying here taking it easy with me. She hangs out with me all day. My wife comes home and shit hits the fan. She loses her shit and runs. Clearly, I'm getting the explicit tag here today, but she runs around like a crazy Looney Tune for like 10 minutes. So this is more or less
That's
of an
the
entrepreneur's
best
podcast,
feeling.
more like let's talk about our dog podcast. So here's a question. What is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
Like a physical object or like a...
You can go as deep as you want.
For me, it would probably be, this is like more of a metaphorical take, but
That's good.
people that I can fall back on. Because
I
in
love
those
that.
moments where I'm like struggling with self-worth, it's really helpful to have like in my back pocket, like I probably have like 3 people that I could call and say, can you give me a pep talk, basically? And it's really helpful.
Talk me up. Make me happy again.
Yeah.
That's great. So, Krista, where can people find you online? I know you have a great newsletter you put out every Wednesday, right?
Yeah. So every Wednesday, it's called the Midweek Missive. It's an email newsletter where I break down a different like how-to concept usually, and it drip out through a series. So you're not getting bombarded with a giant email, but you get one
Have to
week,
digest,
one
yeah.
part, and then next week, the next part, next week. Anyway, yeah. So you can certainly find me there. I can share the link. It's free to
Yeah.
join.
We'll put it in the show notes. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are you on LinkedIn? Like, where's your water holes online?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn and I am on Instagram.
Instagram is not you anymore. It's Bobby Socks.
It's me and Bobby Socks. Hey, but I
It's
strongly
cute.
suspect people enjoy the dog.
Oh,
He's a sweetie
oh,
pie.
he's adorable. So, Krista, this has been so much fun. We finally got you on. I'm thrilled.
Yay. Yeah, thank you so much. It's been fun talking to you, like not just privately.
Yeah. And we'll see everyone in 2 days. I have to figure out how to say that because it comes out twice a week. I can't say see you next week because it's going to come out in 2 days. I can't say you see you Thursday because this might be a Thursday episode, then it's coming out Tuesday. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
Welcome to the life of a podcaster. So we'll see everyone we see you. How's that?
Yeah, or like a few days or what. Yeah, but I think you got it.
That was a great show. Hey, if you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please give us a review on the podcast directory of your choice. We're on all of them. And these reviews really help others find the show. Also, if you're getting value from the show and want to buy me a coffee, go to the show notes and click on the link to help me stay awake while I bring you more great episodes to your ears. That's in the show notes, and I look forward to the next episode. Take care, guys. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode. This podcast is one of the many great shows on the MPN Marketing Podcast Network.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Christy Smallwood hosts a great podcast called Small Business Success Talk. Christy, tell us what these fine folks will get out of listening.
Well, you get the feeling of not being alone in building a small business. My guests have shared their success stories, their biggest challenges, their best practices, the passion for what they do, and what success really means for them. It's a mix of mindset, heart, and how-tos for the small business community to learn from each other.
Awesome. Where can people subscribe?
You can go to smallbusinesssuccesstalk.biz, or you can find the show at marketingpodcasts.net, or you can search for Small Business Success Talk wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.